Hello, welcome to my channel, and if you've been here before, welcome back. You know the drill. Smash that subscribe button down below and then that bell button to the right. Go ahead and ring it too, and that way you'll be notified of any new videos that we have every Saturday and some during the week. Today's video is going to be about the Philippines. Also, be sure to stay to the end. I've got a couple helpful tips when traveling throughout Philippines. Philippines actually consist of about a little under 8,000 islands, so it's a rather large geographical area. There are close to just a little over 100 million people that live in the Philippines. The official language is Tagalog. There's actually 120 to 187 different languages in the Philippines, and English is one of the main speaking languages. It's pretty widely spoken with everybody. Mostly a Catholic religion-based country. The islands are very beautiful. It lies right below Japan and Taiwan, so a little bit south of that, and then a little bit north of Indonesia. The main capital of the city is Manila. It's one I actually haven't been to. I've flown into it. It's very, very populated, very difficult to get around, and extremely modern as well. All international flights come in there. There are some international flights that come into some other cities, just depending on where you're flying in from. The island that I lived and worked in was Cebu, and it's a beautiful island with many beaches. I spent a little bit of time driving around that island. It's beautiful. You can see off the coast some whale sharks. And then on the weekends, I would spend going over to an island called Bohol. Bohol is known for the tanzia, which is a little mammal. It's the smallest mammal in the world. It's the only place it can be found. It's got some beautiful beaches like White Beach, Alona Beach, and several others. Another neat thing to do there is visit the chocolate hills. They're called chocolate hills because they're brown and they're made out of limestone. They're green during part of the year, just depends if it's rainy season or drought. Another island I've been to is, it's Davao, D-A-V-A-O. It's actually where the president is from, I believe, and it is a smaller town, but growing quite rapidly. There's some very beautiful beaches on that island, and they're very non-touristy. So if you really want to get some dive into the culture, it's a great place to go. And I actually had some VAs working there, so I visited. I guess it was about 2 years ago. Some other places I really look forward to when things open back up. Look forward to visiting the Philippines again. There are so many beautiful islands to visit. The El Nido area of Palawan is definitely high on my list. Has some of the most beautiful beaches. It's a great place for diving, snorkeling, and they have some underwater caves. To get there, it's about they had a slow boat, which is about 8 to 9 hours from the mainland, but now they've got a fast boat, which is about half the time. That's one way of getting over there. The other islands near there is, I'm not sure if I'll pronounce this correctly, it's Pingbayutan. It's a little island off the coast. It's got huge cliffs, and the Ipil Beach is a beautiful beach. It's on that island. Really, really beautiful. Definitely some place you should not miss. Also on Palawan, there's Puerto Princess, which has underground rivers, dive sites. There's 3-star to 5-star, ranging anywhere from $32 to $80 a night in that area of the island. Very, very beautiful. Another island, which is, you're not going to get much culture on this one because it's a real, it's called Boracay. It's a really beautiful, beautiful place to go, beautiful resorts. It was actually shut down for about 6 to 9 months. They spent over $1 billion redoing everything. So it really shocked a lot of store owners, hotels and everything, but they totally changed it, really cleaned it up. They don't allow cigarette smoking, no cigarette butts, no walking around, unfortunately, with alcohol. They're trying to keep it no plastic, no straws. Beaches are very pristine. It's more on the upscale resort, so not for your typical digital nomads or backpackers. I've heard they're going to start doing that with some of the other islands as well. If I hear some more about that, I'll do some other videos on it. It's definitely one of the most beautiful places that you can visit in Southeast Asia and in the world. Another beautiful, beautiful island is Siargao. And Siargao Island, supposedly it's going to be the next Bali. It's got unbelievable surfing. There's a lot of great beaches to go visit. There is the Mason Bridge. So a lot of things you have to go to. You do have to pay a small fee. It's usually 20 to 50 pesos, which is 40, 50 cents to a dollar. And there's some beautiful river tours, jumping off some cliffs, and of course bridges and things of that nature. Definitely something that you should do. Pacifico Beach is up on the northeast side. It's great for beginning surfing and a little bit more remote to get to. Another thing to do in Siargao is go island hopping. So you got Naked Island, you got Giron Island, I think it is, Sheraton. There's a bunch of them to go to. You can rent a private banca, I believe it's pronounced, which is a little private boat, and go to all those. They do have tours, but if you want to get away from the crowd, I highly recommend going either on off-season or especially during the week to avoid all the boats. It's really starting to get popular. If you can get a private boat, if you got 3 or 4 people, we suggest that just because you can go to a lot of places and get away from the crowds. Some other things about Siargao is they have the General Luna area. That is the most populated area. It's one of the most popular surf areas. It's going to be more of the medium to advanced surfers. It's where all the hotels, hostels, things of that nature, all the nightlife, and it's kind of like I guess it's like early Bali. To get around there, you can do the tricycle. To get around, it usually runs about 50 pesos, which equals about $1. Another way is to rent a scooter, motorbike. That will run anywhere from 350 to 500 pesos, which is about $7 to $10 per day. That's your most flexible as far as seeing everything around the entire island, and it's a rather large island, something you can't walk. There's 2 other ways, is rent a car, which runs about $50 a day. Bear in mind that if there is some traffic, it takes a little bit harder to get through. And then the 4th is a kind of a tourist van. The price on that is negotiable, and those are, if you have a large group, definitely recommend something like that. The Philippines is, I would say, some of the nicest people you can ever meet. They're very welcoming. Some of the things I've said in my previous videos is don't just do the tourist stuff. Try to, if you can, mingle with the locals. If you're driving around islands or anywhere, wave, say hello, stop by, have a beer with them. They're very inviting. I've spent a lot of time with them. Try the local food. Don't just try to eat Western food or eat at some of the restaurants, but try some places where the locals eat. 1, it's inexpensive, and 2, it's really, really great food. You can try all kinds they have unbelievable vegetables. So the other dish that is extremely popular, it's one of the most popular things about Philippines, is lechon, which is pig. It's roasted pig. I've had it several times. You can have it with like a vinegar sauce and some other spices and sauces. They marinate it and cook it for, I don't even know how many, a day or 2, I'm not sure how many hours. But it's unbelievable, really popular with family gatherings. You'll find it just about everywhere throughout the Philippines. Okay, for those helpful tips when traveling around the Philippines, the best airline to take is Cebu Pacific. It actually has a couple contracts on some of the islands where it'll get you closer to where you need to be and less of a drive. It has some of the better rates too as well. Also, when you get to the airport, when you first fly in, be sure to get a SIM card. I almost recommend getting 2 SIM cards. One is with Globe and the other one's with Smart. If you're going to be traveling for long periods of time, because certain SIM cards work in certain areas. and there's a lot of times on certain islands the cell service works, but they can't get internet at the hotels. So it just depends on which island you're at. Another thing to do is be sure to exchange some money at the airport. Just do a small amount because the exchange rate's not as good as outside the airport, but you may need it for a taxi and a couple things, maybe a bite to eat and a beer or something. The other ways to get around, of course, by motorbike and taxi. They have something called Grab, which is similar to Uber in the US. Just download the app just like you do Uber, and another great way to get around. Also, you can, of course, rent a motorbike, and you can also ride in the back of a motorbike. And they, it usually runs about 50 pesos to go anywhere, which is $1, unless it's a longer distance. So those are some helpful tips for getting around the Philippines. Well, that concludes my video on the Philippines, one of my favorite countries, the one I'm definitely looking forward to getting back to. And I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe, smash that bell button to get notified. And also, be sure to leave a comment down below on other videos you'd like to see, places you'd like to see me travel, although we're still waiting for things to open up. Any other suggestions on the comment, hit the like button, and be sure to share. One way that I'll be able to grow this channel and be able to do more of these videos, and especially when I start traveling. For right now, we've got I'm probably going to leave in about 5 or 6 weeks or so. Depends on which countries open up, where I'll start doing some traveling and vlogging on location. So stick around, and remember, live life barefoot, and see you on the beach.